My husband tried to use my inheritance to take his whole family on vacation. So, I spent it all on myself instead. I'm a 28-year-old woman. My aunt passed away 3 months ago. She left me exactly $52,000 while I was still grieving. My 32-year-old husband was already calculating. He didn't even wait until the funeral was over. He suggested we use the money to take his entire family on a healing cruise to the Bahamas. That's his parents, 2 sisters, and their 3 unruly kids. But that's not even the worst part. His mother wore white to our wedding. She openly called me low stock. Why? Because I work in graphic design. She wanted her son to marry someone in finance. Last Tuesday, he showed me a spreadsheet for 12 people. He said, "It's what your aunt would have wanted. Family implies sharing, babe. It's time to bury the hatchet." I saw red. I didn't scream, I didn't fight. I just nodded and smiled. Then I went to the bathroom, and I opened my phone. I booked a 3-week solo trip to the Amalfi Coast and Santorini. Business class Emirates flights cost $6,200. A private villa in Positano with a chef was $11,000. I got a complete designer wardrobe update for $4,500. I prepaid everything. Non-refundable. When I came out, I told him, the executor called. There's a tax lien on the estate. The money is frozen for at least 18 months. He was crushed. He actually called his mom to apologize that I couldn't fund their summer. She screamed so loud I could hear it through the phone. Wow. Now, I'm telling him I'm leaving for a mandatory work training seminar in 2 weeks. I even have a fake itinerary printed out on my company letterhead. In reality, I'm going to be sipping limoncello on a cliffside while he deals with his family's disappointment. The credit card statement showing the travel agency charges will arrive 3 days after I leave. Part of me knows this is probably the end of my marriage. But honestly, looking at the confirmation email gives me more joy than he has in years. Am I a monster for choosing a tan over my husband? Did I overreact, or did he deserve it? Let me know what you think. My brother's fiancé demanded I give up my first-class seat for her mom, but that's not even the worst part. So, am I the a-hole? I'm a 27-year-old woman. I'm currently at home instead of flying to Cabo. It's for my 32-year-old brother's wedding to his fiancée, Lexi. She's 30. Lexi has always been high maintenance, but this week was too much. They chose an ultra-expensive resort. It's $900 a night. I'm single and make decent money. So, I decided to treat this as my yearly vacation. I splurged on a first-class ticket and a deluxe oceanfront suite. I worked overtime for 6 months to pay for this without going into debt. 3 days ago, we had a final family dinner. Lexi asked about my flight details. When I mentioned I was in seat 2A, her eyes went wide. She immediately said, "Perfect, you can switch with my mom. Her sciatica is acting up and she's in economy." I laughed, thinking she was joking. She was. She explained that since I'm young and healthy, I should take her mom's middle seat in row 34, so her mom could be comfortable for the 6-hour flight. I politely refused. I suggested she upgrade her mom if it was a medical necessity. Lexi lost it. She said, "It's my wedding, you're being selfish. Family makes sacrifices." My brother just looked at his plate and mumbled, "Come on, just do it for her. Don't cause drama." I left dinner early, fuming, but that's not all. The next morning, I woke up to a Venmo request from Lexi for $500. It was titled Bachelorette Party Fee, which I didn't even attend, and a long text saying if I didn't swap seats, and let her parents use my ocean view suite for getting ready photos, aka the whole trip, because their room was a garden view. I wasn't being supportive. That was it. I called the airline. Since I bought a fully refundable fare, I got a full flight credit. I canceled my hotel room. I was within the cancellation window by exactly 2 hours. I texted the family group chat. Since my presence is only valued as a donor for upgrades, I've removed the distraction. Have a beautiful wedding. Now my phone is exploding. My parents are furious I wasted the RSVP cost, $250 a plate. And Lexi is posting vague TikToks about toxic in-laws trying to ruin her big day. My brother says I'm petty for nuking the relationship over a chair. So, am I the a-hole? Did I overreact, or is she completely out of line? Let me know what you think. I accidentally destroyed my marriage at work. It took less than an hour. I'm a 28-year-old woman. I work as a transcriber for high-stakes legal disputes. I sign strict NDAs. I use encrypted software. Usually, the audio is boring boardroom bickering. My husband, Greg, is 32. He works in tech sales. For 6 months, he's been coming home late. He claimed he was grinding for a VP promotion, with a $40,000 raise. Yesterday, I picked up a rush priority file. It offered a $300 bonus for a 2-hour turnaround. I put on my headphones and started typing. 5 minutes in, I froze. The male voice had a nervous tick. He clears his throat twice before lying. It was Greg. But he wasn't in a sales meeting. He was in a disciplinary hearing with HR and legal counsel. I listened as my husband described an affair with a 22-year-old intern. He wasn't apologizing. He was bargaining. He told the legal team, "If you fire me for this, I release the texts where my manager approved the expenses for our trip to Cabo." Cabo, he told me that was a mandatory team-building retreat. I literally packed his sunscreen for him. Then came the gut punch. The HR rep asked, "Does your wife know about the nature of your departure?" Greg laughed, a cold, unfamiliar sound. He said, "My wife is clueless. She's happy as long as the commission checks clear. She thinks I'm a hero for working these long hours." I finished the transcript. I typed every single word. I sent it in. Greg came home an hour ago with a bottle of Dom Perignon. He hugged me, spun me around, and said, "Baby, I did it. I got the promotion, VP of sales." He didn't get a promotion. He got a settlement to leave quietly and sign an NDA. He is lying to my face right now. He's pouring me a glass of champagne, paid for with hush money. Here is my problem. If I confront him, I admit to violating federal privacy laws and my own NDA. I could get sued and blacklisted from my industry forever. But looking at him smiling makes me physically sick. Do I play along until the settlement money hits our joint account? Or do I blow up his life and my career tonight? What would you do in this situation? Tell me in the comments. You won't believe what happened on Reddit today. I'm currently sitting in my car 3 blocks away from a luxury apartment complex, watching my husband's truck, and I feel like I'm going to throw up. A 27-year-old woman and my husband, Dave, 30-year-old man, have been on a scorched earth budget for 2 years. We're talking generic brand everything, no date nights, keeping the thermostat at 62 degrees in winter, all to save $60,000 for a down payment on a house. Dave manages the finances because he's in a coup, not the a-holant, and I trusted him completely when he said we were so close to our goal. Yesterday, Dave went to the gym but left his duffel bag in the hallway. I went to put his sweaty clothes in the wash and found a folded document tucked into the side pocket. It wasn't a work paper. It was a lease agreement for a 1-bedroom unit at the Meridian, a high-end complex downtown. The rent is $2,200 a month. The tenant listed? Jessica, his 23-year-old mentee from work who he claims is struggling to get on her feet. My hands were trembling as I logged into our bank app. I usually just check the balance, but this time I dug into the transaction history. For the last 8 months, there have been cash withdrawals of exactly $2,200 labeled consulting expenses or vendor payments for his side hustle. He hasn't been investing in his business. He's been fully funding her lifestyle while I'm couponing for toilet paper. That's nearly $18,000 of our house money gone. I drove to the Meridian tonight. I buzzed the number for Unit 402. Jessica answered, giggling, "Did you forget your key card again, babe?" I hung up immediately. Now I'm sitting here, watching his truck in the visitor spot, wondering if I should walk up there and scream or go home, drain the remaining accounts, and disappear. He thinks I'm at my sister's. What is the most painful way to handle this? What do you think? Let me know in the comments.